Commander Vex's Tar looked at the glowing screens in front of him. The large alien had dark blue skin and wore the heavy armor of the Draknari Empire. His forearms moved quickly as he checked the daily reports from Nexus Prime Station. The station was huge, almost like a small city floating in space. It was home to traders from 5 different alien races. The morning had been quiet. Ships came and went, carrying goods between the stars. Miners brought rocks full of rare metals from the planet below. Traders bought and sold things from across the galaxy. Everything was normal until the alarm started screaming. "Commander!" shouted Crixina from across the room. The insect-like Chithan had 6 legs and moved very fast. Her voice was high and sharp, like the sound of breaking glass. "Something big just appeared at the edge of our system." Vextar's red eyes focused on the main screen. Numbers and lights flashed as the computers tried to understand what they were seeing. "Show me," he said in his deep voice. The screen changed to show a picture of space. At first it looked empty except for distant stars. Then a shape appeared. It was a ship, but not like any ship they had ever seen. It was long and gray with sharp edges. Strange weapons stuck out from its sides like the spines of a dangerous animal. "Run a check on our database," Vextar ordered. "What race does this ship belong to?" Crixina's claws clicked on her control panel. Her 6 eyes looked at different screens at the same time. After a few seconds, she looked up. "No match, Commander. This ship design is not in any of our records." From another part of the command center, Silnara swam closer in her water-filled suit. The Vorthak looked like a large fish with arms and legs. She could breathe water, so she wore a special suit filled with blue liquid. "That's impossible," she said, her voice bubbling through the water. "Every spacefaring race in this part of the galaxy is known to us." The unknown ship was getting closer. It moved smoothly through space, not making the rough movements of a damaged ship. This was clearly a military vessel, and it was in perfect working order. "Sir," called out Tech Officer Moore Lin, one of the crystalline Zalari. His body was made of what looked like living glass that changed colors when he spoke. "The ship is sending a message." "Put it on screen," Vextar commanded. The main display flickered and showed the inside of the unknown ship. A figure appeared on screen. He looked almost like a Draknari, but smaller and with only 2 arms. His skin was not blue, but a light brown color. He wore a dark uniform with strange symbols on it. "This is Captain Lee Dongwu of the United Earth Navy ship Indomitable," the figure said. His voice was calm and steady. "We request permission to dock at your station. Our ship needs repairs after a navigation error brought us to your system." The command center fell silent. Nobody had ever heard of Earth or United Earth Navy before. The 5 races of the Trade Consortium had been exploring space for thousands of years. How could a whole new race just appear? "Navigation error?" whispered Silnara. "Ships don't make navigation errors that big by accident." Vextar studied the human on the screen. The alien called Lee had dark hair and serious eyes. He did not look afraid, even though he was asking for help from people he had never met. "What is your point of origin, Captain Lee?" Vextar asked. "We come from the Sol system," Lee replied. "Our home planet is called Earth. We have recently developed faster-than-light travel and are exploring nearby systems." Crixina made a clicking sound that meant she was very suspicious. "Commander, I recommend we call for military backup. This could be a trick." "Captain Lee," Vextar said, "your ship appears to be heavily armed for an exploration vessel." Lee nodded. "Space can be dangerous. We learned to be prepared before we left our home system. We mean no harm to your station or your people." As the human spoke, the ship's sensors got better readings on the Indomitable. The results made everyone in the command center very worried. The ship was enormous, much bigger than even the largest Draknari warships. Its hull was made of metals they could not identify. The energy readings from its engines were off the charts. "Sir," whispered the sensor operator, a young Draknari named Kevtok. "This ship is putting out more power than our entire station. And those weapon ports. I count at least 50 of them." Vextar felt his blood run cold. If this human ship wanted to attack them. There was nothing they could do to stop it, but the human captain seemed friendly enough. Maybe this really was just a peaceful contact. Very well, Captain Lee, Vextar said. You may dock at Base 7. However, I must inform you that your ship will be watched by our security forces. That's perfectly reasonable, Lee replied. We would do the same thing. We'll send over a small team for the meeting. Indomitable out. The screen went dark. For a moment, nobody in the command center spoke. Then everyone started talking at once. This could be the most important day in galactic history, Silnara said. Or the most dangerous, Crixna clicked back. Vextar watched the unknown ship on his screens. It was moving toward the station now, growing larger every minute. Soon he would meet beings from a race that nobody knew existed. Were they peaceful explorers, as they claimed? Or were they something much more dangerous? Crixna, double the security around Base 7, he ordered. Silnara, contact the Trade Council. They need to know about this. And someone wake up the Morphean Collective representative. They won't want to miss this. As the orders were carried out, Vexitar kept watching the approaching ship. The Indomitable was beautiful in a deadly way. Its lines were smooth but sharp. It looked like it was built for both speed and fighting. This was not the ship of a race that had just learned to travel between stars. The commander's mind raced with questions. Where had these humans really come from? Why had they appeared now? And most importantly, what did they really want? In a few hours, he would have some answers. But somehow, Vexitar had the feeling that those answers would only lead to more questions. The galaxy was about to change, and he was not sure if it would be for the better. The Indomitable continued its approach, a gray shadow against the stars. Inside the ship, the humans were preparing for their first meeting with alien races. Outside the ship, 5 different alien civilizations were trying to decide if they were about to meet new friends or deadly enemies. The future of the galaxy might depend on what happened in the next few hours. The docking bay was crowded with security guards from all 5 alien races. Vextar stood in the center, wearing his best armor. Next to him was Silnara in her water suit, and Crixna with her weapons ready. Even Zephron, the gas-filled representative of the Morphean Collective, had floated down in his containment sphere to see the humans. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. 4 figures walked out, and the aliens got their first close look at humans. They were smaller than Draknari but moved with confidence. Their leader was the one they had seen on screen, Captain Lee Dongwu. He had short black hair and wore a dark blue uniform with strange symbols. Behind him came 3 others. Commander Park Jiwon was a woman with sharp eyes who looked at everything like she was planning a battle. Dr. Kim Sora was younger, with kind eyes and a small device in her hand that was probably some kind of scanner. The last one was Petty, Officer Choi Minho, who carried a box full of translation equipment. Welcome to Nexus Prime Station, Vextar said, stepping forward. I am Commander Vextar of the Draknari Empire. Captain Lee smiled and gave a small bow. Thank you for allowing us to dock, Commander. We are grateful for your hospitality. The humans did not seem afraid, even though they were surrounded by aliens who could kill them in seconds. Dr. Kim was looking around with excitement, like a child seeing new toys. Commander Park stood relaxed but ready, her hand near her weapon. Choi was setting up his translation box, which started making soft beeping sounds. Your device is not needed, Silnara said, her voice bubbling through her water suit. We all speak the common trade language. We noticed, Lee said. Your language systems are very advanced. We would like to learn more about them. Crixna stepped closer, her 6 legs clicking on the metal floor. How did you learn to speak our language? We've been listening to your radio signals for many years, Lee replied honestly. We wanted to be able to communicate when we finally met. This answer made all the aliens look at each other. If the humans had been listening for years, they knew much more about the galaxy than they were admitting. Perhaps we should move to a more comfortable place to talk, Vextar suggested. They walked through the station corridors toward the main conference room. The humans looked at everything with interest but did not seem amazed. Dr. Kim used her scanner quietly, pointing it at different alien technologies. Commander Park was counting guards and noting where the weapons were hidden. The conference room was large, with seats designed for different alien body types. The humans sat down easily, even though the chairs were not made for their bodies. They seemed to adapt quickly to new situations. "Now then," Vextar said, "tell us about your people." Lee nodded. "Humans evolved on a planet called Earth in the Sol system. We have been exploring our local space for about 50 years, but we only developed faster than light travel recently. This is our first long-range mission." "You seem very calm for people on their first alien contact mission," Krixna observed. "We knew we would meet other races eventually," Park replied. "We prepared for many different situations." Dr. Kim leaned forward. "We would love to learn about your cultures and technologies. The diversity of life in this station is amazing." Silnara seemed pleased by this. "We have been trading and sharing knowledge for over 1,000 years. Each race brings something unique to our alliance." "What do humans bring?" asked Zephyron, his voice coming from speakers on his floating sphere. "We're good at solving problems," Lee said simply. "We adapt quickly and find new ways to do things." The aliens talked among themselves in their own languages for a few minutes. The humans waited patiently, but Dr. Kim kept scanning with her device. Finally, Vextar spoke again. "We have a proposal for you," he said. "If you truly come in peace, perhaps you can help us with a problem." "What kind of problem?" Lee asked. "Pirates," Krixna clicked angrily. "They have been attacking trade ships near the asteroid belt. Our security forces have not been able to stop them." "They know the asteroid field too well," Silnara added. "They hit our ships and disappear before we can catch them." Lee looked at his officers. Park raised one eyebrow slightly. Dr. Kim nodded. Choi just shrugged. "If we help you with this problem, what do we get in return?" Lee asked. "Recognition as a trading partner," Vextar said. "Access to our markets and technologies, a place in the galactic community. And if we fail, then perhaps you are not ready for that place," Krixna said coldly. Lee was quiet for a moment, then he smiled. "We accept your challenge." "Excellent," Vextar said, but his eyes remained suspicious. "Sub-Commander Torvak will accompany you as an observer?" A younger Draknari stepped forward. Torvak was smaller than Vextar, but still looked dangerous. "I will watch and report on your methods," he said. "That's fine," Lee replied. "We have nothing to hide." As the meeting ended, the aliens were left with more questions than answers. The humans seemed too prepared, too calm. They acted like people who had planned for this meeting, not like explorers who were lost. Dr. Kim had been scanning everything in the room. Her device had recorded information about alien biology, technology, and materials. Commander Park had memorized the layout of the station and identified 12 different security weak points. Choi had analyzed their communication systems and found 3 ways to hack into them. But the aliens were also learning. Vextar noticed that the humans worked together without talking. They seemed to read each other's minds. Park's hand never moved far from her weapon, even in a peaceful meeting. Dr. Kim's scanner was more advanced than anything they had seen before. "What do you think?" Silnara asked when the humans had left. "They're not telling us everything," Krixna replied. "That ship is too advanced for a race that just developed FTL travel. Maybe they're naturally gifted," Zephyron suggested. "Or maybe they're lying," Vextar said quietly. Back on their ship, the humans were having their own meeting. The bridge of the Indomitable was clean and efficient. Screens showed data about the station and the surrounding space. "The aliens are more advanced than our intelligence suggested," Park reported. "But their security is overconfident. They rely too much on superior numbers. Their biology is fascinating," Dr. Kim added. "Each race has evolved different advantages. The Chithan are incredibly fast. The Draknari are very strong. The Vorthak can process information from multiple sources at once." "And the pirates?" Lee asked. "The asteroid belt would be perfect for hit-and-run attacks," Park said, studying a star map. "But it's also perfect for an ambush if you know what you're doing." "Do we know what we're doing?" Choi asked with a grin. Lee smiled back. "We're about to find out." Lieutenant Yoon Hee-jin looked up from her engineering station. Captain, I've analyzed their technology. It's good, but it follows predictable patterns. They build things to last, not to adapt. That could be useful, Lee said. Prepare the ship for departure. We have pirates to catch. As the Indomitable prepared to leave the station, both humans and aliens were planning their next moves. The aliens thought they were testing the humans to see if they were worthy of joining galactic society. The humans knew they were being tested, but they had plans of their own. The real question was, who was testing who? The Indomitable moved through space like a hunting shark. Captain Lee stood on the bridge watching the asteroid belt grow larger on the main screen. The space rocks floated in a thick cloud around the system's largest gas giant. Somewhere in that maze of stone and ice, pirates were hiding. Sensor report, Lee ordered. Lieutenant Yoon Hee-jin looked up from her station. The asteroid field is dense, Captain. Lots of metal in the rocks that blocks our scans. Perfect place to hide. Perfect place for an ambush, too, added Commander Park from her tactical station. Behind them, Sub-Commander Torvak watched everything with his red Draknari eyes. The alien observer was trying to understand how humans fought. So far, he was confused. Most races would charge into the asteroid field with weapons blazing. The humans were just sitting and watching. Captain Lee, Torvak said, should we not begin the attack? Patience, Lee replied. First, we need to understand our enemy. Dr. Kim was at the science station, her fingers dancing over alien controls she had learned to use in just a few hours. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from 3 locations in the asteroid field. The signatures don't match normal. Mining operations? Show me, Lee said. The main screen changed to show a map of the asteroid belt. 3 red dots blinked in different areas. They were spread far apart, like points of a triangle. Clever, Park said. They can hit trade ships from any direction and retreat to a different base. Sergeant Kang Tae-min, the navigator, was studying gravity readings from his station. Captain, there's something strange about this asteroid field. The gravity patterns don't match what they should be. Explain, Lee said. Some of these asteroids are hollow, Kang replied. Really hollow, like someone carved out the insides to make hidden bases. Torvak's eyes widened. The Draknari military had searched this asteroid field many times. How had the humans found the hidden bases in just a few minutes? Chief Petty Officer Shin, Lee called to another station. Can you hack into local communication networks? Shin Da-un smiled. She was small even for a human, but her fingers moved over computer controls like magic. Already working on it, Captain. Give me 5 minutes. Torvak could not believe what he was seeing. The humans were using the pirates' own communication systems against them. No Draknari commander would think to do such a thing. Got them, Shin announced. The pirates are using 3 ships called Savage Claw, Bloodfang, and Deathstrike. Very original names. They're planning to attack a trade convoy in 2 hours. Can you stop the convoy? Lee asked. Already done. I sent a message pretending to be from station security. The convoy will wait at the jump point until we give the all clear. Lee nodded. Now we set our own trap. The Indomitable began moving toward the largest asteroid base. But instead of flying straight, it took a twisting path that used the gravity of larger asteroids to change direction. To anyone watching, it would look like the ship was just drifting. What are you doing? Torvak asked. We're making ourselves look like a damaged trade ship, Park explained. Pirates love easy targets. Lieutenant Yoon was doing something with the ship's engines. I'm reducing our power output and adding some fake damage to our hull scan signature. Anyone looking at us will think we're limping along on emergency power. The plan worked. Within an hour, the 3 pirate ships came out of the asteroid field like hungry wolves. They were fast and mean-looking, with weapons pointed forward for quick strikes. 3 ships approaching, Dr. Kim reported. They're hailing us. Put them on screen, Lee ordered. A ugly Draknari face appeared on the screen. He had scars across his blue skin and wore the ragged armor of an outcast. Attention, trade ship, he snarled. This is Commander Kethmos of the Savage Claw. Surrender your cargo and we might let you live. Please don't hurt us, Lee said, making his voice sound scared. We're just carrying medical supplies. Medical supplies are valuable, Kethmos laughed. Prepare to be boarded. The pirate ships moved closer, surrounding the Indomitable. They thought they had caught an easy victim. They had no idea they were swimming into a trap. Now, Lee said quietly. Everything happened at once. The Indomitable's fake damage disappeared as its full power came online. Hidden weapon ports opened along its hull. The ship spun around faster than the pirates thought possible, but the humans didn't just attack with brute force. Yoon had been secretly scanning the pirate ship's computers. She sent a virus that crashed their navigation systems. Shin hacked their communications and filled their channels with false orders and confusion. Kang used his knowledge of the asteroid field's gravity to predict exactly where the pirates would try to run. The Indomitable was already waiting when they got there. The first pirate ship, Bloodfang, tried to escape by diving between two large asteroids, but the humans had calculated its path. The Indomitable fired one precise shot that disabled the ship's engines without destroying it. The second ship, Deathstrike, attempted to fight back. Its weapons were strong, but the human ship's shields were stronger. Park targeted the pirates' weapon systems with surgical precision. In seconds, the enemy ship was helpless. Kethmos in the Savage Claw realized he was fighting something much more dangerous than a trade ship. He tried to ram the Indomitable, hoping to take the enemy down with him. But the human ship simply moved aside at the last second, and the pirate crashed into an asteroid instead. All three ships disabled, Captain, Park reported. No casualties, on either side. Torvak stared at the screens in amazement. The entire battle had taken less than 10 minutes. The humans had not just defeated the pirates, they had made it look easy. How? Was all the Dreknari could say. We studied the problem first, Lee explained. We learned about the asteroid field, the pirates' tactics, and their technology. Then we used that knowledge against them. But you adapted their own systems, Torvak said. You used their communications against them. You predicted their movements. How is this possible? Dr. Kim smiled. Humans are very good at learning new things quickly. We had to be to survive on our home planet. As they collected the disabled pirate ships, Torvak was already thinking about his report. How could he explain to his commanders that the humans had done in minutes what Dreknari forces had failed to do in months? The prisoners were brought aboard the Indomitable. Kethmos looked around at the human ship with fear and confusion. What are you? He asked. We're humans, Lee replied, and we don't like bullies. During the questioning that followed, the humans learned something interesting. The pirates had been getting information about trade ship schedules from someone inside the station. Someone was helping them choose the best targets. Who was your contact? Park demanded. Kethmos laughed. You think I'm stupid enough to tell you that? They'll kill me if I talk. They'll kill you anyway, Dr. Kim said calmly. Pirates know too much to be left alive. The truth of her words hit Kethmos like a physical blow. He realized that his employers had never planned to let him live once the job was done. Think about it, Lee said. Help us and we'll make sure you get a fair trial. Stay loyal to people who want you dead and see where it gets you. As they flew back toward the station with their prisoners, Torvak was quiet. He had watched the humans work together like a single organism. Each person knew their job perfectly, but they could also do other tasks when needed. They were flexible in ways that his own rigid military could never be. Sub-Commander, Lee said, you look troubled. Your people fight unlike anyone I have ever seen, Torvak admitted. You adapt, you learn, you use the enemy's own strengths against them. Is that bad? Lee asked. Torvak was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, It is terrifying. The Indomitable continued toward Nexus Prime Station, carrying its prisoners and its secrets. Behind them, the asteroid field was quiet again. But the galaxy had changed. For the first time, someone had seen what humans could do when they decided to fight. And Torvak was beginning to wonder if his people were ready for what was coming. The interrogation room on Nexus Prime was cold and gray. Kethmos sat in chains, his scarred face showing fear for the first time in years. Around him stood representatives from all 5 alien races, along with Captain Lee and Dr. Kim. The pirate leader's red eyes darted between his captors like a trapped animal. "Start talking." Crixna clicked, her insect legs tapping impatiently on the metal floor. "I want protection," Kethmos said. "If I tell you what I know, they'll kill me." "They're going to kill you anyway," Dr. Kim said calmly. "We found your ship's computer files. Your employer sent you a message yesterday ordering you to attack one more convoy, then disappear forever." The pirate's face went pale blue. "You're lying." Dr. Kim held up a data pad showing the decoded message. Kethmos read it and his shoulders slumped in defeat. The message was clear. Eliminate the human ship if possible, then go into hiding. The pirates had become a liability. "Who hired you?" Vexitar demanded. "I never met them face to face," Kethmos said. "All orders came through encrypted channels, but the money was real, and they knew things about convoy schedules that only station personnel would know." "What kind of things?" Silnara asked from her water suit. "Departure times, cargo manifests, route changes," the pirate replied. "Information that let us pick the best targets and avoid security patrols." Captain Lee leaned forward. "Someone on this station was working with you." "Had to be." Kethmos nodded. "But I don't know who. I just followed orders and got paid." The aliens looked at each other with suspicion. A traitor in their midst was bad enough, but one who could access secure information was much worse. "We need to investigate everyone with access to convoy data," Crixna said. "That's half the station," Vextar growled. While the aliens argued, Dr. Kim was quietly analyzing the data they had recovered from the pirate ships. Her portable computer was far more advanced than anything the aliens had seen. She was cross-referencing communication patterns, payment schedules, and convoy attack timing. "Captain," she said softly, "I think I found something." Lee looked at her screen. Hidden in the mass of data was a pattern that the alien investigators had missed. The convoy information was always transmitted exactly 6 hours before each attack. The payment transfers came from 3 different accounts, but they all traced back to the same source. "The money came from a Draknari military account," Dr. Kim whispered. Lee's eyes hardened. He looked around the room and realized that they were in danger. If someone in the Draknari command structure was behind the pirate attacks, then revealing this information could get them all killed. "We need to be very careful how we handle this," Lee said quietly. But they were too late. Vextar's sharp hearing had caught their whispered conversation. "What did you find?" he demanded. Before Lee could answer, Chief Petty Officer Shin's voice came through his communicator. "Captain, you need to get back to the ship right now. We're being targeted by the station's defense weapons." The room erupted in confusion. Alarms started blaring throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red as automated systems prepared for battle. "What's happening?" Silnara demanded. Vextar was speaking rapidly into his own communicator in the Draknari language. When he finished, his face was grim. "Security reports that your ship has been identified as a hostile vessel. You're ordered to surrender immediately." "On what grounds?" Lee demanded. "Evidence has been discovered proving that you are actually the pirates," Vextar said. "The attack on the convoy was staged to make you look innocent." Dr. Kim's computer beeped with an urgent message. She looked at the screen, and her face went white. "Captain, someone just planted fake evidence in our ship's computer system. It looks like we've been planning these attacks for months." "That's impossible," Lee said. "I know it's impossible," Dr. Kim replied. "But the evidence looks very real. Someone with high-level access to station systems created it." Through the interrogation room's window, they could see the Indomitable, surrounded by alien warships. The human vessel's shields were glowing as weapons locked onto it from all directions. "You have 1 minute to surrender," Vextar announced. "After that, your ship will be destroyed." Captain Lee looked around the room at the alien faces staring at him. Some looked angry, others confused. Only Torvak seemed troubled by what was happening. "Sub-Commander," Lee said to the young Draknari, "you watched us fight the pirates. Do you believe we're criminals?" Torvak was quiet for a moment. "No," he said finally. "Pirates don't fight the way you do. They don't capture enemies alive when they could destroy them. Torvak, Vextar snapped. You will not question military orders. I question orders that don't make sense, Torvak replied. Commander, how did this evidence appear so quickly? And why are we so eager to destroy these humans instead of investigating properly? Vextar's forearms moved to his weapons. You forget your place, Sub-Commander. In that moment, Lee realized the truth. You're the traitor, he said to Vextar. You've been working with the pirates all along. Prove it, Vextar snarled. Dr. Kim's fingers flew over her computer. I can, she said. The fake evidence was created using Draknari military encryption codes, but the timestamps show it was made after we captured the pirates, not before. She's lying, Vextar said, but sweat was running down his blue skin. The money transfers all trace back to accounts you control, Dr. Kim continued. You've been stealing from convoy insurance payments and sharing the profits with the pirates. Enough. Vexitar drew his weapon and pointed it at Lee. You will. Order your ship to surrender or I will kill you here. I don't think so, said a new voice. Everyone turned to see Commander Park standing in the doorway. She had somehow gotten past station security and was holding a human weapon that hummed with energy. How did you get here? Crixna demanded. I walked, Park said simply. Your security systems are designed to stop large groups, not one person, who knows how to move quietly. Vextar kept his weapon aimed at Lee. One human cannot stop all of us. Maybe not, Park agreed. But I already sent all the evidence to every ship in the system. They know the truth now. Through the station's communication system, they could hear voices arguing in different alien languages. The other races were demanding explanations from the Draknari. Some were calling for Vextar's immediate arrest. You're finished, Lee told, the corrupt commander. Your own people will turn against you when they learn what you've done. Vextar's face twisted with rage. If I'm finished, then so are you. He squeezed the trigger of his weapon, but Torvak was faster. The young Draknari tackled his commander from behind, sending the shot wide. The two aliens crashed to the floor, fighting for control of the weapon. Secure the prisoner, Park ordered, pointing at Kethmos. Dr. Kim and Choi quickly moved the chained pirate to safety while the two Draknari struggled. Finally, Torvak managed to knock Vextar unconscious with a blow to the head. Is it over? Silnara asked, her voice bubbling with confusion. For now, Lee said. But we need to get back to our ship. There might be other conspirators who will try to destroy the evidence. As they left the interrogation room, Captain Lee wondered how many other alien officials were involved in the conspiracy. The corruption seemed to go deeper than just one, Draknari commander, but they had won this round. The truth was out and the galaxy would know that humans were not the enemy. At least not yet. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching the alien ships that still surrounded them. Even though the truth about Vexitar was spreading through the station, many weapons were still pointed at his ship. Fear and suspicion filled the space around Nexus Prime like a poison cloud. Captain, Shinda-un called from her station. I'm getting multiple signals from the edge of the system. Pirates? Commander Park asked. No, sir, Shin replied, her voice filled with excitement. These are human ships. The main screen changed to show space near the system's border. One by one, ships began appearing as they dropped out of faster than light. Travel. They were sleek and powerful, clearly military vessels. In the center of the formation was a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even the Indomitable. This is Admiral Ryu Sujin of the United Earth Navy ship Seoul, came a voice over the communication system. Captain Lee, please report your status. The alien ships around the Indomitable seemed to shrink as the human fleet approached. There were dozens of vessels, from small destroyers to huge carriers. They moved in perfect formation, like a school of deadly fish. Admiral, Lee replied. We've made contact with 5 alien species and resolved a pirate situation. We also uncovered corruption in the local government. Excellent work, Captain. Stand by for fleet arrival. On the station, Commander Vextar had been locked in a holding cell, but he could see the screens showing the approaching human fleet. His blue face turned even paler as he counted the ships. Impossible, he whispered. Where did they all come from? Dr. Kim was analyzing the new arrivals with her sensors. Captain, these ships are using technology even more advanced than ours, and there are at least 50 of them. The alien representatives who had gathered to watch were silent with shock. They had thought the Indomitable was impressive. Now they were seeing an entire fleet that could destroy their station without breaking stride. Silanara to human ship, came the Vorthak's voice. How many vessels does your species possess? Lee smiled. Enough. Admiral Ryu's flagship, the Soul, was enormous. It was twice the size of the largest Draknari dreadnought and bristled with weapons that the aliens could not identify. As it approached the station, smaller ships spread out to form a protective screen. Permission to come aboard, Admiral Ryu requested. Granted, Lee replied. The transfer was swift. Within minutes, Admiral Ryu Soo-jin was standing on the Indomitable's bridge. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Behind her came Captain John Hyun-woo, a tall man in marine armor who looked like he could fight a Draknari barehanded. Status report, Ryu ordered. Lee quickly explained everything that had happened since their arrival. The Admiral listened without interruption, occasionally asking for details about alien technology or capabilities. The corruption goes deeper than just Vextar, Lee concluded. We found evidence of a conspiracy involving officials from multiple species. Show me, Ryu said. Dr. Kim presented her analysis on the main screen. Financial records, communication, logs and shipping manifests painted a picture of systematic theft and murder. The conspirators had been stealing from trade convoys for years using pirates to cover their crimes. Impressive detective work, Ryu said. But we have bigger concerns now. Ma'am? Lee asked. The alien fleets are mobilizing, Captain John reported. Draknari, Chitin, and Vorthak warships are moving toward this system. They think we're invading. Through the station's communication channels, they could hear frantic conversations in multiple alien languages. Military commanders were demanding explanations. Politicians were calling for war councils. Fear was spreading through the galaxy like wildfire. We need to address this situation immediately, Ryu said. Open a channel to the station. The main screen split to show representatives from all 5 alien species. They looked terrified and angry in equal measure. Behind them, security forces were preparing for battle. I am Admiral Ryu Soo-jin, Supreme Commander of the United Earth Navy's 1st Contact Division, she began. I want to make our position clear. You're invading our space. Krixna clicked accusingly. This is an act of war. No, Ryu said calmly. This is an act of introduction. Humanity has been watching your civilizations for decades. We've studied your languages, your cultures, your technologies. We've been preparing for this moment. You've been spying on us, Silnara accused. We've been learning about you, Ryu corrected. Just as you would do if you discovered a new species. Torvak, who had been promoted to temporary station commander, after Vextar's arrest, stepped forward. What do you want from us? Partnership, Ryu said. Trade, knowledge exchange, mutual protection, but we will not be treated as a junior species or exploited by corrupt officials. You speak of partnership while surrounding our station with warships. Zephron's voice echoed from his containment sphere. We speak of partnership from a position of strength, Ryu replied. Experience has taught us that respect must be earned, not begged for. Captain John activated a new display showing human territory. The aliens gasped as they saw the scope of human civilization. Hundreds of systems, thousands of ships, billions of people. How long have you been spacefaring? Torvak asked in amazement. Longer than you think, Ryu said. We've been preparing for this day for over a century. The evidence was overwhelming. The humans weren't lost explorers or primitive newcomers. They were an established spacefaring civilization that had been studying the galaxy from the shadows. Why reveal yourselves now? Krixna demanded. Because it was time, Ryu said. We've learned all we can from observation. Now we want to participate. Dr. Kim stepped forward. Admiral, we've discovered something else. The pirate attacks weren't just about theft. Someone was testing your response times and defensive capabilities. Intelligence gathering, Captain, John said grimly. Someone has been studying you the same way we have. Who? Silnara asked. We don't know yet, Ryu admitted, but we intend to find out. The communication channel was quiet for several minutes as the aliens processed what they had learned. Finally, Torvak spoke. What happens now? Now we establish formal diplomatic relations, Ryu said. We exchange ambassadors, set up trade agreements, and work together to solve common problems. And if we refuse? Krixna asked. Then you refuse, Ryu said simply. But the galaxy is a dangerous place, stronger together, as you say in your trade alliance. As the negotiations continued, more human ships continued to arrive. Not just military vessels, but science ships, cargo haulers, and construction platforms. It was clear that humanity was here to stay. The final message came from Fleet Admiral Park Yoon-suk, transmitted from the massive space fortress that had appeared at the edge of the system. Her words were broadcast to every ship, station, and planet in the sector. This is Fleet Admiral Park Yoon-suk of the United Earth Navy. We are humanity, and we have arrived among the stars. We come in peace, seeking friendship and trade with all civilized species, but we are not defenseless and we are not alone. Treat us with respect, and we will do the same. Cross us, and discover why we survived to reach the stars. The message ended with coordinates for Earth and an invitation for diplomatic contact. Then the human fleet settled into patrol positions around the system, making it clear that Nexus Prime was now under their protection. In his cell, Vexitar stared at the screens, showing human ships as far as sensors could reach. He had thought he was dealing with one lost vessel. Instead, he had awakened a sleeping giant. The galaxy had changed forever. Humanity had announced its presence not as supplicants begging for acceptance, but as equals demanding respect. And across 1,000 worlds, alien leaders were realizing that the balance of power among the stars would never be the same again.